Hello and welcome back to day 20 of the Undo Your To-Do List challenge. Now today I'm bringing in the concept of time and how it's so important that we consider time to some extent, or even to a large extent, in the whole process of understanding how it is we relate to both time and our action steps. What I find out there in the world of self-management or management of any area of our life is that there's been a tendency to try to look on time as something we can manage, whereas I want to suggest it's not something that we can manage. It's something that we find ourselves within. It's a part of our context that has an important effect on how we what we can and can't do, because as you know, the onslaught of time does have an effect on things, and it's actually the most stressful aspect of anyone dealing with an overwhelming to-do list. So the two perspectives that I find people tend to have in relation to time are, first of all, that linear onslaught of time, where people will tend to fall into a pattern of being a cog in the wheel, so to speak, where you have repeated patterns of things that you need to do along that linear onslaught of time that can have a certain wearying effect on you, a certain disconnect because of the repetitiveness and no real sense of it really being centered around something that's really important to you or that really matters. And there's a bit of a tendency to fall asleep. And within that onslaught of time, there's also little areas where we try to say, oh, well, I've got to develop good habits so that they can almost be automated into my sequence to make things better for myself. But there's still a tendency to fall off, for it to slowly disintegrate in that linear onslaught of time. So the other concept of time, which you already do, I suppose, meet yourself at in certain rhythms of your life, is this idea of you being at the center of time, you being the composer at the center of time, with time moving around you. And in that rhythm of time, there's a certain series of cyclical events where you tend to meet up repeatedly with a similar event within your life, but with you and your purpose being sort of moved into that event and having that power to try to bring your purpose with more clarity into each cycle or rhythm or opportunity that you have as time moves forward or moves along around you. So I hope that makes sense, and with a couple more exercises, hopefully it will make more sense. But today the exercise is to simply start to, in the pink skill building area, the light green maintenance or nurturing area for you, and also to some extent maybe in your yellow brick road area of the repetitive work and processes you go through, is to start to circle the areas that feel awkward to you and that have a sense of not having a timing that suits you, whether or not it's because they don't have a certain regular rhythm within your life where you're meeting at a certain time these events, or whether it's because you're feeling like you're too rushed or forced even to go too slowly in each of these areas, which is an important aspect of understanding, because the more you're trying to bring into your composition and the more that it is new to you, the more you do need to slow down. And that inner sense of timing is such a unique personal thing that no one else can decide that for you. It's a matter of feeling into it as you develop up your rhythms within time. So I hope that exercise makes sense. And I hope you have fun with it and can feel more into your sense of timing within each of these. And tomorrow we'll start to look at how to put together a schedule for yourself.